My mission is simple, to help you protect your family and keep more of your money. I'm here to help level the playing field for families and those who seek the truth. There's always a new way to make money, but at the end of the day, it's your family's security and your legacy that matter. And I promise to help you protect what's really important to you. Legacy Money starts now. Hey guys, welcome to Live at 5 on Legacy Money. And of course, Murphy's Law, I was kind of delaying a few seconds anyway. We have a train track near my office, our studio here. So trying to let that get by so I don't have to wear the headphones. I'm not a big fan of wearing the headphones, but this show is really about positivity, some things that are going on that literally I feel our lives are about to change. And Legacy Money is all about living more, giving more, so you can leave more for the future. Your legacy is important. And today, I just want to share in this special edition some of my life's experiences. And the video is entitled, Now is Your Time. So let's go. Really, out there today, finally, I think we're seeing some changes. Some things are getting done. There's some positivity. The markets were up today, 7 to 12%. I believe the NASDAQ was up. So things are looking good. I believe the sun is starting to shine for most of us. And sure, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have some tough times. But I believe we're going to get through all of this and come out the other side better than ever. I believe now is your time. If you've been frustrated over the last few years, and I know many of you have, I have, then this is your time to shine. And if you can't tell, I'm a little excited today about the opportunities that lay before us. There's so much that we can learn from. We can learn from history, and we can take that knowledge and put it towards the future. We can invest in ourselves, which is really what I believe we need to be investing in. Our country, you and me, I feel, have been beat down and taken advantage of for too long. So now we have an opportunity to make some changes. We can stand up. We can be all that we can be. And I don't want to sound cliche, but I really believe we're living in the best of times. People are starting to recognize what's really going on. And now we have the opportunity to readjust. We can adapt to the situation without sacrificing our values. So I want to, kind of move forward a little bit and really get into the nuts and bolts of what I want to talk about. And, I am a financial advisor, but I want to let you know this is not compliance approved. This is educational in content. And there might be some instances, logos, images that are not mine. I'm merely sharing them as news and history and education. And this hasn't been approved by any compliance department. And I'm not a tax or a legal advisor. So I just wanted to let you know that. I'm not really going to get into specifics on money or investments anyway. But I do want to tell you a little story. My story really as an entrepreneur started about 45 years ago. I was recruited in college, little did I know, to go out and work on straight commission, selling Bibles door to door. And I was fortunate enough to work with some great people and really meet some great people, including one of my early mentors, Sam Moore. And he was the president of Thomas Nelson Bible Publishers at the time. And he had sold the Bibles door to door before in his lifetime. So he influenced me a lot, along with many other people. Later in life, Nelson Nash was a big influence of mine. He wrote the book, Becoming Your Own Banker. And I really learned a lot from him. Currently, I'm under the influence of another great mentor, Joel Bauer, who's helping me to learn and grow and really present what I've learned to others. So none of this is really my own. I'm under the influence of many great leaders, including Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, Jim Rohn, Og Mandino, Dan Kennedy. I've learned from the best of them. And, really what I believe today is I believe in God, I believe in family, and I believe in freedom and liberty. I believe that most Americans, again, have been beat down, and they're fearful of even speaking, talking, and seeing their own personal worth. They're sick and tired. I am, and you may be too, of the lies and the corruption. I believe that people really should be in control of their own lives, less government, and they should be in control of their own finances so they can reach their own true potential. And I believe all of us should start with why. Why do you get up every morning, every day? What motivates you to go forward? I believe we should find what we believe and why we believe it and focus on that. And if we'll just do that and the things that we know to be true and share those with those that we care and love about, that is how we can get out of this. So that's what I do. I merely share the truth. I share what I've learned, the facts, and I share what I've learned from others. My mission is really to educate and mentor others on how they can take control of their finances. That's what I do every day in my business. That way they can get the things that are holding them back off of their back. They can move forward and be the best that they can be. Now, there's a lot of noise out there, and we have to be aware of what's going on. There's a lot of distractions. I don't know about you, but I've been every day, I'm bombarded with emails, text, phone calls, robocalls that most are not from real people. They're this AI that we've heard so much about. And I believe in it. I believe there's ways that it can improve our lives, but I'm also somewhat fearful of it. So we just have to be aware that there's distraction. There's going to be haters out there. I mean, just look at what's going on right now with our government. I saw a poll yesterday where something like 55% of people in a certain group believe that the president, it would be okay for him to be assassinated. And this is just terrible that we've come to this. So, put the haters aside, focus on what you know to be true. Be aware that there are imposters out there. There's phony systems. There's no get rich quick that's going to get you to the top. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take determination. It's going to take perseverance. But you are at the right spot at the right time in life. And don't think that just because we have technology that it can be good or bad. We just have to learn to use it. We have to use it as a tool, whether it be the cloud, crypto, DeFi, artificial intelligence, whatever it might be. We just want to be able to be aware of it and not get bogged down with it as a distraction. So if you're a baby boomer, which I am, I was born the last year. Baby boomers were born between the year 1942 and 1964. So I was born the last year, about to be 61. I know many of you are fearful. Now, if you're younger than that, Generation X, Y, Z, millennials, you know that there's a lot of good things happening. Now, you may have been scared too. You may have been influenced. You may have believed the lies, but I want to tell you, there is truth in the light, right? And so if you're a baby boomer, I really do sympathize for you because just like me, you may have recently lost money. You may not have even lost money. You may just have seen it reduce in value on paper. But again, just today, the markets are coming back. And so, most people really their biggest concern isn't that the market went down. If you're a baby boomer or older, you're probably concerned that you might run out of money, that, inflation is going to eat up your spending and your savings. So I'm here to shed a little light on that and maybe help you improve that situation. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to keep learning. And, that might mean going back and reading some of the books that you read earlier in life. I mean, there's some fantastic books out there. I'm just going to list a few off the top of my head. The Law by Frederick Bastiat, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Greatest Salesman in the World, Becoming Your Own Banker, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Those are just some from the top of my head, but read those books, read and learn history. And, one of my favorite authors, Charlie Tremendous Jones, said, "You are the same today as you will be in 5 years, except for two things: the people you meet and the books you read." So read a book. I know we're so accustomed just to scrolling through our feed on our phone, but I want to encourage you to pick up a book and read it. And someone added, places you visit or events. So if you have a chance to go on a vacation, to go to an event, to learn, to go to a seminar, go if you can. I know times might be tough right now, and you might not think you can afford some of those things, but this will be money well invested because you're investing in you. So keep learning. Now is your time. You're blessed, I'm blessed, and you have your life's experiences to share. So that's what I try to do every day, is just share what I've learned with people. We have to be grateful for everything that we have, and that includes a roof over our head, food, the air we breathe, and the freedoms that we have in our country. So just by showing up here today, you're showing me that you have motivation to improve on this, to learn, to grow. And right now, we're really in a perfect storm. And what do I mean by that? I know we've had a lot of bad storms. We just had, tornadoes, inches of rain in my area over the last few days. But the sun is out today, and the weather is beautiful. Opportunity is everywhere. We just have to be looking for it. You see, right now, you've got skills, you've got experiences, you've got talents that you've learned over your lifetime. And there are people searching for what you have. You can share that with others. You can be a problem solver. People want to take advantage of opportunity. So if you have a good experience, a good opportunity, a good product, a good solution, provide that to others. And, it's easier than ever to share it. I mean, look at this. I'm talking to you live right now. And by the way, if you have some comments, I'd appreciate them. I'm going to try to get to everybody's comments. Let me see if I can get to that. So I just want to encourage you. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna put the little chat box up there if you have something to say. Thank you, Maritza, for joining us today, and thank all of you out there. If you're watching this live, or you might be watching the replay, but this is all about positivity and looking forward, thinking long term. The market went down this week and last week, but it will come back, and I believe it's going to come back stronger than ever. So again, you have something to share with others. So I encourage you to do just that, to share what you've learned with other people. So as we move forward, I want to show, if I can get back to my screen here, got caught up in the chat. Always something, isn't it? All right, sorry for the pause there. So here's what I suggest to you. I want you to remember, you may have heard this acronym before, SIB KISS, or just KISS. See it big, keep it simple. And the older I get, the more I want to adhere to that, because that is really something that has resonated with me over my lifetime. And the older I get, life is complicated already. All these passwords, logins, AI, technology, email. What about we just go back to, simple? Who likes complicated, right? And here's how you can do that. Take out the pen, pick up a book, write something down, pick up the phone, call people. Don't just text them, call them, talk to your friends. And when you're talking about your money and the future, challenge conventional wisdom. Government plans, IRAs, qualified plans, they really haven't been around that long. Are they really in our best interest? I mean, why do we put our money with the government? I mean, we can save money on our own. You may have heard even they're encouraging you today. I see the ads, I'm sure you do, self-directed IRAs. Well, it's still an IRA, right? You might be directing it, but it has government rules. Now, this isn't anti-government. Maybe you have a 401k at work, or maybe you have a pension. If you do, consider yourself fortunate, consider yourself blessed, because you at least have someone or something, some entity that's contributing to your growth. But, think about who's in control. And I want you to think about your future, right? Think about some other ways that you may be able to invest in yourself and in the future, into technology. I mean, I've mentioned AI a few times now. What if you could use AI to start your business? I've used it recently to help me solve some problems and gather some information. The prompt, as they're calling it, is the new search engine, right? So think about that. What can you learn? How can you grow using the future that's out there? And if you are at retirement age, if you're a baby boomer, are you ready? Ready or not, it's here, right? I mean, maybe you could postpone it a little while. Maybe you could start a side hustle. Maybe you could start that business you've always thought about. You can do it now at less expense than ever. Starting a business today is really simple compared to what we've had to go through. I've been self-employed for over 40 years, and I love it. I would never go back to a job. Now, I'm not criticizing jobs. Some people are better off in a work environment, and maybe that's you. But if you're getting older and maybe you're being forced out the door, or maybe you're sick, or maybe you've got issues, just think about that. And now you might think you're too old, but I want to share a few success stories with you. And, I share these all the time, but Harlan Sanders, Colonel Sanders, you might know him. He was 62 years old when he began franchising Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Walt Disney was in his 50s when he started Disneyland, and Disney World came later. Ray Kroc was, how old was Ray Kroc? I think he was 53 when he started McDonald's. Vera Wang went through the financial crisis, similar to what we may have experienced in 2000, 2009. And right when her business was taken off and it wiped her out, she then became a global brand with over $1 billion in business at age 60. So it doesn't matter where you are in life. You can take control of your future, and you can do it today. And all you have to do is just look at history and look at what other people have done and learn from their experiences. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. But I know time is money, right? We all have a limited, finite amount of time. But really, the money is infinite. It's just a matter of how much you can control and how much you can take advantage of. We all have mortality that's knocking on our door. So that's why I keep saying now is your time. We can't wait. The time is now. And, you probably have some questions, but I'll have some questions for you. And so here's the first one. Have you retired yet? If you haven't, do you know how much you'll need to make to be able to retire? Is retirement in your future? Do you want to get to a time where you can live off of your income versus having to work? And, I hear business people that are in business like myself say, no, I'll work my entire life. And maybe that's you. But, what if we can't work? What if we get sick? And if you have a business, what's your exit strategy? Do you have a way to pass your business on, to transfer your business when you're gone? Will your family want it? Will they take it over? Will you be able to sell it? Do you have debt today? Do you have, if you have a job, are you working paycheck to paycheck? And looking into the future, have you considered the impact of taxes on your future and your income? What difference will inflation make on that income if it's a fixed income? Will you need long-term care? Have you ever had anyone in your family in a nursing home? Do you know how much that cost? And ultimately, does your legacy or your financial legacy mean something to you? Do you want to preserve that? Do you want to transfer to others your wealth? So in life, there are going to be transfers while we're living. And I was just talking about your estate after you're gone. But while we're alive, there are some things that we may be able to control that will help us so we don't lose our money and transfer it away. These three things are taxes, interest and fees, and inflation. And I put interest and fees together because typically when you finance something, there's going to be a lot of fees involved. You might not even notice sometimes the closing fees, the loading fees, the taxes, the serve fees, the extras, and this and that and that. But these things are a problem, right? And inflation, we call the stealth tax because that's really what it is. If you don't know, inflation comes from inflating the money supply. So all these cheap rates that people seem to want means cheap money, means fiat money, fiat currency, which can be inflated. And that's a problem. Taxes are a problem, especially when they're uncertain. And so that's one reason that I think some of the changes that we're making today will help us with that. Right where I live in the state of Mississippi, they've been speaking of having no state income tax. Now, there are several states that already have that. And Texas, Tennessee, Florida, there's a few states already. And so taxes can destroy your finances later in life. But there's other risks. Of course, there's market risks. If you're retiring right now at this time, I know the volatility has got to be on your mind. So I encourage you just to, if you can, wait it out. If you've already turned on your RMDs or distributions, then you might have to depend on something else. But I believe the market will bounce back pretty quick. I mean, look, again, just today, up 7 to 12% across the board. But there's other risks. There's longevity risk. People talk about running out of money, but why would they do that? Well, people today are living to the next century. They're living to be 100 years old. So you want to be aware of these things that could affect your life. Another thing is debt. If you have personal debt, we need to learn ways to conquer that debt, to get over the debt. And I know many people are depending on the government to, the Federal Reserve to lower rates, but you have to understand that the government is in debt too. Our national debt, as you probably are well aware, is over $36 trillion. Now that equals out to about $107,000 per citizen and about $323,000 per taxpayer, because not every citizen pays income taxes. So if you're fortunate enough to pay income taxes, then that debt and taxes are a concern. So where will the money come from? People hear about this $36 trillion of debt. How are they going to pay that? Are they going to pay it? What's going to happen? And where does the government get money? So be aware of that. Who is in control of the money? Who do you trust? Do you trust the government anymore? Do you trust the IRS with your money? Do you trust the markets with your money? I mean, think about that. I mean, it's pretty scary. Do you trust the Federal Reserve to lower rates or come in and save us to print more money? I mean, I don't know. Or do you just want to go to the casino and roll the dice? I mean, I live here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I'm about 10 minutes away from the big casinos in Biloxi. And I tell people, look, if you want to gamble with your money, you can go right across the bridge, and the casinos are there, and you can roll the dice. So that might be an option. I hope it's not the option that you're considering, but sometimes we do have to take some chances. We have to take some risk in life. And so what I'm encouraging you to do today is to take a risk, take a chance on yourself, right? Invest in yourself. And you may have heard the term or the statement, don't fight the Fed. And I'm pretty well known for standing up and talking against the Fed, but they do control the money supply. So why not do what the Fed and the bankers do? There are ways that you can accumulate wealth without having to depend on the Fed or the government or the IRS. And you can just do what they're doing. They've been pretty successful other than the government themselves. So imagine a time in the future when you didn't have to depend on the banks or the government for money, and you had capital for opportunities. Maybe you have capital available to you now. Maybe you have liquid cash. And if you do, I highly encourage you to take a look at what's available out there in the marketplace. There are assets that you can own, that you can control, that will put you on a path to prosperity. And you can give more. You can leave more to your heirs. So at some point, we are going to get to that time in life where we'll either not be able to work, or we want to retire, step back from what we're doing, and maybe just enjoy life. So I encourage you to do that. Enjoy life. You want a colleague of mine wrote a book. It said, retire happy, right? And he spoke of the good times that we will have when we get to retirement. So I encourage you to do that. And, it's not just about accumulating income. We have to create an income source where we'll have income. And I relate it to climbing a mountain. And maybe you feel like, you're at the top, or maybe you haven't made it that far, or maybe you're on the way down. But we know that it's crowded out there. There's a lot of people. You might think that somebody else has already done what you want to do. But believe me, you have experience and you have knowledge that you can use. And you're going to need some help. You're going to need a Sherpa, right? If you were climbing Mount Everest or any other tall mountain, you'd probably get a guide. You'd probably have somebody to help you with your belongings. You need a mentor. You can choose your tools. I like to talk in terms of bicycles, but you can think of life cycles, and the different ways that life changes. We go through ups and downs. And again, I ride a mountain bike, so climbing the mountain, I've been riding bikes for pretty much as long as I've been in business, 45 years. I've been in the cycling industry. But think of life that way. And so there's ups and downs, and I believe we're going to come back. I believe that, if we're climbing, there's more efficient, more effective ways to do things. We can be light, we can be more effective, we can be more efficient. But if you're older and you're coming down the mountain, I know things are coming fast. You're going to need protection. You're going to need a helmet. You're going to need some armor. You're going to need some body protection. There's going to be things coming at you. Taxes, inflation are already here. Market risk, longevity risk. What if you live to be 100? What good is it going to do to live to be 100 if you can't enjoy your life? Look at the time here. I want to be thoughtful of your time. So choose your tools and choose your tools wisely. Again, I still ride mountain bikes today, but I have an e-bike, and it still requires me to pedal, but it helps me get up the hill a whole lot easier. It helps with my back, it helps with my knees, and I'll stay active. So stay active out there. Whatever you like to do, if it's run, walk, fish, tennis, pickleball, get active, stay active. And remember that as you're going down that mountain, you're going to need income. You're going to need cash flow. And there's more risk for the retiree. Somebody that's already retired, they're in a great deal of risk because they have to be careful with their money. They need security. The impact is much greater if you fall in your older years. You hear about all the knee surgeries, the hip surgeries, the back surgeries that people have to get when they're older. Well, that's life. And, maybe we could be eating healthier. There's all types of studies that are out today that tell us that our diet can help prolong our life. And maybe some of the drugs we've been taking really haven't been that healthy, that good for us. So something that you might want to consider and look at as you get older. But if you're here, if you're near retirement, or if you're not, just think about that time in your life and think about your pie, all of the wealth that you've accumulated thus far. Think of it as a nice apple pie or blueberry pie. So you've got this pie. How much of that pie do you want to give to the IRS? How much of that pie do you want to transfer away to others? Or do you want to transfer it to your family? Do you want to leave a legacy for your family, for those that you love and care about? So you're going to need cash flow. You're going to need income. So I'll suggest that you find a way to get that. You can set yourself up to be in a position where you have regular cash flow. You can own your own private pension. If you didn't have a pension at work, you can get your own. If you didn't have a 401k at work, you can start your own private plan. You don't necessarily need someone to watch your money, especially after you retire. I know that you may be fearful of doing things on your own, but it's okay. You can do it. Rely on your life's experience because now is your time. So I believe this. I believe it wholeheartedly. I believe that people have been brainwashed, and we have to help others to think. We have to let them recognize that their life has value. And you can talk to others, and that can be your message. You can share your message to others and show them what's possible. What have you accomplished? How can you share that with them? And if you don't share it with others, who will? Maybe they will never know. So now is your time. And this is a huge responsibility. We're almost out of options. I mean, I really believe that if we wouldn't have had a change here recently, that our country was on the path to destruction. But we have that chance now. And so we have to be willing to share what we know with others. If not, how are people going to know? I mean, we could wind up in tyranny. And how would people live? You think it's tough now. How would people live under tyranny? What will happen if you don't help people, right? Think about the people that you know and care about. Our country was founded on freedom and liberty. That was the American Revolution. And I believe we're on the cusp of a new American Revolution. And our country cannot survive without you and without God. So today, I just want to encourage you. This has been a special message of positivity that I just want to share with you. And I'm glad you joined me today. And if I can help you in any way, you just let me know. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you real soon.